Should be topic number 2 says, is this Pride Month a black event in America? That could be fighting words in some places. This takes us to Twitter, and it takes us to a tweet from Nick Sauter. It says, Justin, massive brawls are breaking out at the Pride Parade in NYC. What an end to quote unquote Pride Month with the laughter emoji. It's a 2-minute video. We'll watch it maybe twice if necessary, but we'll discuss it after we view it. Unlike the popular Bahamian song that says once is not enough, I think once is enough for that particular video. Trigger Happy 262 plus in the chat says, is this prompt saying that because of the high amount of black people present? I think so. I'm just looking at the folks in the audience, and clearly it's overwhelmingly, a lot of black folks mixed up in this brawling going on at Pride Month. It's also very funny to me sometimes, and when I say funny, I mean ironically funny, in a bad way funny. They put Pride Month in the same month with Juneteenth. Then they made Juneteenth a federal holiday within that Pride Month, and they started to push when they announced Juneteenth a couple of years ago as a holiday. They was pushing Juneteenth with a lot of those rainbow colors involved. So, it's undeniable what these folks are doing or trying to do with the black community. Let me mix it up a little bit. Let me start with Buana on this one. Buana, what say you to
this? Pride mean like proud black gay people, right? That's what I mean, like Pride Month, proud gay people.
Proud gay.
Yeah, so it seemed like it's a bunch of young people. Yeah, so young people, I don't blame. Well, I do blame, but I say that when you see a large swath of a bunch of young black folks, well, a young people, not even black folks, young people in general, it always devolve into some confusion, especially when you put some if alcohol is around and if drugs is around, it seems to devolve into like Lero say degeneracy. Me personally, I try to stay away when I know that the crowd is going to be very young and it's going to be alcohol there and possibly drugs. I try to stay away from it. I try to go to wherever the event is playing like blues or jazz. I know that's going to not draw a certain element of people. That's all bad to say. But or even certain kinds of reggae music, because I would never go in a audience full with people who listening to Vibes Cartel either. So I tend to stay away from large crowds where I hear certain music played because I know it can devolve into nonsense. So I try to stay away from it. As far as Pride Month, man, Coco, I'm a grown man. Come on, man. That's not that really a for me question. If any gay listeners, black revolutionary black people who are gay, maybe they could come up and personally explain this way better than I can. This ain't really a topic for a person like myself. So I'll pass it on to any brothers who may want to comment on it.
Hopefully, James Baldwin and Bernard Rustin are listening to the show and will tune in, come up on the panel, and express themselves here. Forecast, what say you to this?
First, I agree with Buwana and the brothers who is in that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Definitely welcome to come on here and speak. Um, I would say this. I don't know. I don't know what the person, whoever put it up. They can come. I guess explain what they're trying to get us to comment on. I guess but I just got a feeling like this was kind of like trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of thing. So I won't even really talk about that. I'll say what you was talking about with the Pride Month and Juneteenth and all of that stuff. Because even with that Kurt Franklin celebration and with the dude sitting there kissing Joe Biden's hand, you know what I'm saying, it became ridiculous. But that's also another thing that is routinely practiced on how they do their politics, as far as like the benign and neglect kind of thing in your face. For an example where you could see where they'll throw in the minorities, people of color, you know what I'm saying? But like most of the gay people was like slave owners, like doing stuff to little boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't give a pass to that group or anything like that. But as far as being black, I would say for me, like, I would say I'm black first, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm a straight man, so I'm gonna identify with white dudes because if they're straight, no, like I'm identifying with black people. So I'm on black people's side for whatever that's worth, you know what I'm saying? So I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, I feel you on that forecast. And I'll be honest, I was listening to forecast some time ago. Forecast made that point one night, and I had to sit and process that for myself. And like, if we're black first, we have to be inclusive of all types of different blacks. What we should ask is that all blacks be black first. Put your sexual proclivities and whatever else, political, put that to the side or put that behind being black. So I appreciate that forecast. Last but not least, let's hear from Real Black Gentleman. Is this Pride Month a black event in America based on all these black folks you see in the video? Real Black Gentleman, you're muted if you're there.
I only got three things to say. Straight black pride.
Well said. But in the chat, Laro says, black people be queer, unfortunately, and I understand that too, and I've had to reconcile that within myself too. I think the issue I've always had, well, not always, I've long had with the black queer group is that they put their queerness first. There was a guy here in America, a guy named Ed Buck. I think he's free right now. Ed Buck is a dude who has had a handful of black folk, gay black men, die in his residencies, overdose, and God knows what else happened. And you don't hear a peep from the gay community. No outrage, no marches, no this, no that. When some black queer person is harmed. And so to me, that should say to black queer folks, maybe I should put my blackness first. And that's my biggest issue. If anyone wants to comment to that, they can. But Lero says a lot of black queer are black queer only, not even just first, and that's something that needs to be reconciled with. And that's the issue too, because when you take that stance, then how am I to view you in terms of this movement of connecting people globally and attaining power? I will say though, and I'll say this with no hesitation, that black queer stuff is not something that you are going to want to promote in a black nation. This has been broken down thousands of years now that if you have a population with a lot of queerness going on, it's an easy to corrupt population. It's an easy to run over population. And so there lies the large issue that I have. First of all, you're not loyal to your race, and then you also participate in this weird sexual practice that leaves you susceptible to being infiltrated by others, being propagandized by others, our enemies, to make it short. And we're supposed to be black first, black only, race first, race only. And then we have you guys with us. It's a problem, and it's something that we need to come to some understanding, some agreement with that group. Does anyone else here on the panel feel that way, or do you guys disagree?
Well, I want to say a couple of things. I mean, my whole thing, I'm just going to, again, cut to the quick about this. My problem with homosexuality is the eventuality of sodomy. Sodomy spreads disease, period, point blank, whether it be man on man or even female sodomy. It's not it. What winds up happening is that even though women don't tend to that, homosexuality means that the coalition of women and men, bind that. I'm just cutting to the quick. We don't need that. And the problem is you can't give it cover. It spreads disease at a base minimum. That alone is enough. It's not enough that you do it in your house. Look, sodomy spreads disease. It's just the nature of it and the way it incubates, yo. I mean, it causes disease for a reason, and we know this. It's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I would say, Coco, yeah, I agree with about everything, and like I guess people would be like, oh yeah, we don't want. Well, I would say black people in that position. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say. I don't want black people, if they like get lynched or something because they're black. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, you're gay or something. And I don't think anybody would want that. So we agree on that. But and what I would say is like, I guess for me, like, don't bring it like over here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got nothing, like, whatever is over there. But it's like Koku said, most of them be like clones, you know what I'm saying? And even he brought up the dude Ed Buck, where all these black dudes showing up in his house getting, you know what I'm saying, dragged off. And then, I ain't even get into like whatever it's kind of like, because I don't even want to get into like that kind of stuff. Well, that's not even my thing, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, with the whole situation, black people is, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. I'll pass the mic, but
it's all good.
I want to say something briefly. I think that we are in a situation where our relationships, in terms of male-female partnership and relationship, it has been a challenge for our community, and it's caused the the devolution, breaking apart of our houses, and it's caused the separation of our children, being sent to the winds and things like that. I think that this generation has sit down and saw that it takes more than one person to raise a child. A community sometimes raise a child, but in particular, a family is raise a child. And we are in this generation resolving these issues, these shortfalls that generations before us has fell down on. And I think that when you throw these other sexual issues into the pot, I think it creating traumas and identity issues and situations that we don't have time to deal with currently at this point. Where homosexuality in any group of people make up 5 to 10% of a population. In any population, I can't remember the name of the man who came up with that statistic. I can't remember the name of him right now off the top of my head, but say 5 to 10%. Okay, so what about the other 90%? The other 90% is dealing with issues in terms of the opposite sex. So I think that this is the most pressing things. Any community, first and foremost, have to deal with the family structure, and then it builds outside of that. So if I get involved in issues that no necessarily is not representative of the majority of people within my grouping, why am it's like we need to focus on the actual problem itself. You know what I mean? I think that these issues for people who have to deal with these issues, no problem. But there's a greater community that deal with issues of the opposite sex on a daily basis. And I think that these are... You can hear me? Y'all can't hear me?
No, you...
God damn. You can't put the cart before the horse.
You're back. Go ahead. Go ahead, Barna. Finish your thought.
Yes. So what I'm saying is you can't put the cart... Yes. So I'm saying that you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to put the horse before the cart. For relationships, our personal relationships, man, woman, male, woman, child relationships, first and foremost. The cart is what behind. But it seems like in these Western societies, they're trying to put these issues up front. Where they represent only a small number of our population and grouping. And I think that we need to not get confused about that. Most of us deal with male-female issues or female-male issues. And then outside of that, you have the same gender-loving people on the other. So I say let's deal with the main cause first before we deal with the other issues. That's what I would say. But I'll leave it there.
Hey, Coco, can I say, I remember what I was going to say, because it was like what Lero and Trigger Happy saying in the chat. I was going to say, like, yeah, with that whole men is women, women is men, that, yeah, I don't agree with that being an education. So, yeah, that's a big part, not making sure that whole thing is not in the education system. That's what I wanted to say. My bad.
No. Yeah, that's a good point by all of you, which is what I was trying to say about not celebrating it. We ain't got time for that shit to celebrate it. But yeah. In the chat, Trigger Happy 262 Plus says, yeah, man, one thing about development that I think about is the family aspect. Korea developed, but they largely have first graders. Sorry, but they barely have first graders. I put that as a prompt, by the way. I didn't see that this week. I'll put up next week. He said we should avoid that. To Lero, he says, I was just about to say that as well. They do distort and misinterpret a lot of stuff, like women and women marriages were just there so a woman can have children, so like a surrogate. Because earlier, Lero said something to look out for is the Black queer community is trying to make parallels with their lifestyle and identity with pre-colonial Africa, and in turn, distorting history. Yeah, I've seen that, and it's really off-putting to see that too. Trigger says Swahili also made a new term for homosexuality, so that means there wasn't a term previously. I have to look more into this for all African languages. Shout out to Kofi, like I said earlier, who's out there in the chat. Lastly, Trigger Happy says, I think there needs to be a better compilation, though, to combat them on an academic level. That's the only thing missing. So at the moment, the arguments will reside there, to be honest. If there's no other last thoughts on this prompt here by my panelists, we can go move on to shoot the breeze topic number 3.